Welcome to That Steel.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. They said we would never be back.
You'd never guess who would. Tried to stop us
you will fucking get this intro right.
Well, you didn't tell me when I was going to come in.
Well,
anyway, you never guess who tried to stop us this week.
Okay, who tried to stop us, Nick?
The shit Melbourne weather. I know everyone talks about it, but man, it's December. Just let me be in the sun. I want pool party. You know?
Man, it's raining. It's the fucking worst thing in the world. I've never yearned to be in. Yearned. That's a word I never thought I'd use.
There you go. Something I'd say.
I've never. Yeah, that's why you're here. You're throwing me off. I feel like I've got to up my vocabulary.
I've yearned to be here on this New York Christmas. It feels like we're going to get
it
snow.
feels like
I reckon.
shit. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're joined here with the legendary David Quirk. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen.
Now, on the weekend, you were Meredith. What happened?
Meredith
Anything good?
Music Festival. No, I wouldn't say I behaved, but I'll tell you, this is probably not the funniest thing, but for the first time in my life, after, you know me, we've been out at night, we've had times, haven't we?
Yeah.
And I can often do a few days in a row.
Yeah.
I went to Splendor, Splendor in the Mud a few months ago, and that was ridiculous. But it was like 4 nights, I think, and every night was a bit out there.
Yeah.
I got to the Saturday, so the second night, I saw Caribou. If you know
Caribou,
that, who I never actually listened to, but I was like, what a
I don't know who that was. I don't know why I was like, yeah, cool.
But you would have
Caribou.
loved it. Good, great vibe.
I saw Caribou, bloody, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah, well, they said they
17
haven't been here
years
for
ago, man.
7 years in Oz, so that adds up. Anytime before that, I'll believe you. Nicky.
man. Yeah.
Pretty special, special act. Anyway, as soon as I finished, it was like 12:30, and I'm like, my body for the first time ever just said, if you take more drugs or something, like, it's not going to work. And it was like, go to bed. I've never had that happen to me before.
Oh, really?
How old are you now, David?
Oh, I turned 42 in a month or
42.
two.
I'm getting that now. Even the last time we went to Meredith, when they put the lights on at 2 a.m. or whatever, I was like, thank fuck.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to go to bed. You know what I mean?
That's me. I wasn't like, thank fuck. I was like, what's happened?
Yeah.
What's happening to me that everyone's having a great time? And I'm like sitting on a couch just going, why do I have to walk to the tent? Can't I be carried? It was awful.
Nothing good
but it was
happens
great.
I think nothing good happens after 2 a.m. I'm in that school. I like to go hard early. The last time we went to Meredith, Nick probably went a little bit too hard too early.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
but that was back.
yeah.
I'm with you on this, David. But that probably happened to me about a year ago. I'd say I know probably 2 years ago, couldn't double up.
Okay.
I can go harder one night.
Yeah.
Couldn't double up. Probably the last time I doubled up was Meredith.
Right.
That was the last time, and then that was the rest in peace, Nick Capper, the double up man.
Because it was a dress up party, and Nick was dressed as Snake Blizzarin from Escape from LA.
Blizzarin, yeah.
This is at Meredith?
At Meredith, we had a dress up party, and Nick had it's still my favorite thing he's ever done. He got an old oil cap to put as an eye patch, but he didn't clean the oil patch, and it just had an oil. But then it went into his eye, and his eye was just red. But before we got on to the trip, because I'd never hanged out with his mates before, and it was Matt Stewart's uncle and stuff like that, and he goes, Brett, there is a no fuckhead policy at Meredith.
It's no dickheads,
No
technically,
dickhead.
but fuckheads in this case.
Fuckheads in the category.
I'm just
so he's
joking.
trying to talk to me don't be a fuckhead, don't be a dickhead, just be normal, don't get too excited.
Yeah.
I was like, why are you telling me this? I'm fine. And then
yeah, right. Yeah, why am I telling Brett Blake not to be a fuckhead?
Well, the irony.
Then cut to the drunkest man alive with fireball in a water pistol, just shooting it into people's mouths, but missing it. And I don't know if the vanilla is it the vanilla bean in fireball? What's in there?
Cinnamon and
Cinnamon
shit? Yeah.
was getting into people's eyes, and he was just burning. It was like pepper spray, just going around
Deliberately.
screwing people in the face.
Most people didn't want to. Usually I bring a flare to the crew. They were like, they've got all their drinks. One time I bought, they were like, make a cocktail. And I made this special Jim Beam cocktail. It was just Jim Beam and lemon.
Nice.
And they were like, this is funny, Kappa. You're a girl. And I thought, okay, I'll bring an element of hilarity this year.
Just those two
I'll
ingredients?
Get a fireball water pistol. This will make...
Yeah.
And for those who don't know what Meredith is, it's a bunch of people about over 30. Would you say 28 and up?
Yeah, someone asked me the mean age, and I sort of guessed...
28 to 50.
Well, the average age I reckon would be like 30 to 35.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
balance it out. No,
Yeah.
like I saw a couple of young people, and I was like, they must be 10, but they're probably 18. I'm like, they stood out to me. So no one's super young.
25,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, totally.
They just don't have a hard life of drugs and alcohol. You know what I mean?
Not yet.
Their skin's still supple.
Because I
Yeah,
think it's
yeah.
nice. I think it's the best festival because it's like, their policy is no fuckheads.
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
they're like, okay, this is where everyone fucking over 30, you work a big job now. Some of you got mortgages, some of you. Now go and get let loose for one weekend.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Go and absolutely get shit-faced. Tell everybody you love each other.
Yeah.
That's it. Go home.
That's
Back to your life.
It does. When I was there on day one, I hadn't been there for a few years, and I'd only been there probably 4 times maximum. And I thought to myself, God, it really is an adult's playground. Like, it's like this one stage, you're contained in this sort of small area, and it just lasts a certain amount of time, and it's like everyone behaves like children, basically.
I like there's not a lot of options to go. You know, it's like here or there, that's it. I can't get lost.
Yeah.
And then I think, how many shots of Fireball did you end up doing? You end up like passing out at 5 p.m. or something like that.
It was, I
That's the
pulled out the
way.
Fireball water pistol, and I thought, everyone's going to love this. And they're like, mate, this is big day out shit. Right, this is not a Meredith
this
thing.
is
Squirting
stereosonic.
Fireball.
I was loving it, by the way. I was sitting there going like, who's the dickhead now? You know?
yeah.
You were sculling out of the fucking water pistol.
I know.
Yeah.
It was
Pot
nice.
calling
It
the
wasn't
kettle
for me.
black.
That was
Yeah.
the same year I made a massive fuckwit of myself because I didn't realise the band. I think I've mentioned this story before on the podcast, but I've never told you this story.
Tell me,
But,
bro.
I used to live next door to a group of people who all had mullets in St Kilda,
Yeah.
and we used to go around high-fiving each other just when we crossed the road and stuff like that. And one year I gave them free tickets to my comedy show, and they all rocked up in the front row, and they said, "Oh, look, we play in a band. You should come check us out. We'll get you free tickets." And I was like, I mean, you've just seen me crush to upwards of 28 people on a Saturday at Melbourne Comedy Festival. I don't know how you guys are going to compete with that.
Yeah,
and then I
yeah.
bumped into this chick at Meredith Music Festival. I said, "Oh, what are you doing here? I meant to catch your band." She's like, "Oh, yeah, you'll see us around. We're doing some music." I was like, "Oh, you're like a little pop-up tent or whatever." Anyway, they were Amel and the Sniffers, and they opened Meredith Music Festival that year.
Yeah. I remember hearing about that set. Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
That's sick. I might have been there that year, I
It
feel
was
like.
so good.
2017?
And I was like, "Oh, you're more famous than me."
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I couldn't
That's
believe it when
right.
you told me.
Yeah.
Because you told me, like, Amel and the Sniff. I was like, what? What do you mean?
Well, I didn't know who they were. I'm not cool, you know.
Well, they were newish, like not
Yeah.
super new. They played Meredith, but yeah, they were new. I think I saw them that time. Yeah.
But then the same thing happened with both of us. You're like, hey, man, my mate plays in a band. I think you'd like them. They're kind of weird. They're psychedelic porn crumpets. I'm like, what? I fucking love them.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah.
I just went for a beer with him. I'm like,
That's so
fucking
good.
hell.
He's since been booted from that band. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they wanted a real psychedelic, cool guy vibe.
Yeah.
But he didn't give a fuck. So he used to wear an Eagles jersey at every gig. And they're like, "Please, get rid of the fucking, it's really fucking our brand." And he's like, "Nah."
No, West Coast, son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Quirk,
Yes, Nico.
you're a skating man. You're a skating man. Mm-hmm. And then now
Skateboards,
you've recently gone into the mountain bike thing. Right?
Yeah.
The mountain bike thing.
Yeah,
But
mixed-
it's new though because you're from Bright originally, so it's
Yeah,
got to be in the
that's-
blood.
Yeah,
That's the
that's true.
history. Yeah, so what happened? It was actually goes back to last year during,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was lockdown. No, but yeah, like had a bit of money floating around after all the, what are those payments they were giving us?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
You might know. You
Oh,
worked
yeah,
through like a straight cobro, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want your benefits, assholes. I'm a working class
Oh
man.
no, I still took the benefits.
That's
I still
the
had
way.
it from my business. So
Yeah.
I had the double bubble, and the tax man's going to fuck me up this year. For
You
it.
reckon? Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I'm getting a bill.
I can't remember what it was that made me want to get a sort of a mountain bike. But yeah, I grew up riding BMX and mountain bikes, sort of alongside skateboards at different points. And
So, man, sorry.
yeah, so yeah.
You're at Bright.
Grew up in
That's
Bright.
where you grew up.
Yep.
I've never covered any of this.
Yeah.
Are you from a farm?
Let's go deep.
Sheep?
No,
Sheep? Oh,
no, not a farm, but
Yeah.
we had a sort of smallish paddocks. Like I'm talking quite small, either side of our house
Oh,
that
right,
my
okay.
family owned. Technically, it was one block. I
Yeah.
found out recently, but we had a little house, 2 paddocks either side, and my dad had sheep on them just for God knows what reason. He sort of sold them eventually. He'd have a dude come over and shear them and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I grew up with sheep. And that's it. But no, I wouldn't call it a farm.
In
no.
town?
Yeah, kind of. Like not hard. Yeah, like
Could
it was.
you walk to town? Could you walk to the
Yeah,
shops?
fully.
Oh,
It was
sick.
It was in Paul Punker specifically. Go there. It's a nice place. place.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's real rich man's country now.
Yeah, yeah,
How cool is that? Just doing that
yeah.
sometimes, you know?
Poor punker. But it's a nice part of the world. But now it's like it's gone to the dogs as far as everyone with their tree changes. Like you try and buy a plot of land there, it's crazy. You know,
Man, it's so beautiful though.
That's the
It's
problem.
Crazy. Australia's like so spoilt.
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
go, oh, this is the most beautiful place. And I'm like, oh, you don't want to live here. It's
Yeah.
daggy. It's
You
daggy.
can't,
And you're like,
yeah.
then 10 years later, you're like, oh, it's $1 million for a house.
Fully.
Everyone's
Even
like,
that area, like I love is it Stanley around there? Like
yeah,
it's
not
about
far
40
away.
minutes. There's like a nice ride to there. And I was like, man, I'm going to move to Stanley. It's fucking
Yeah.
beautiful. And then everyone has the same idea. 'Cause
Totally.
Bright now has got like 2 breweries. It's like fucking Boomer
yeah,
Central
yeah.
with all these fucking $7,000 Cannondales riding everywhere, you know?
yeah,
The vibe's changed.
Yeah.
It's awful.
And Kyneton was the daggy place.
Yeah.
A couple of years
Where
ago.
Collingwood?
Kyneton.
Kyneton.
I was going to say.
Yeah. Collingwood. Yeah.
Collingwood was,
It was
rough
real
at
daggy
one
back
point.
in the
but-
1940s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kyneton. Yeah, Kyneton
but
for sure.
Now it's like psycho. Now it's like my mate bought
Yeah.
a place there, and he's like, it is triple. He's like, I can
Yeah.
make so much money if I sell a place here.
Yeah,
It's
fully.
fucking wild. So, but you
But
were
it was a
there.
good place to grow up, and I didn't, I grew up skiing as well, which I now, not
Really?
now. Yeah, because like in Port Punker, this primary school that had 70 kids,
Yeah.
the whole school, 80 kids. They had a ski program every Thursday.
What?
And so
Cool.
there was a ski hire, there was a pub, a general store, and that's about it. And
Ski hire.
a ski hire. Right?
Sounds like an
And-
Aldi. The
yeah,
Aldi
fully.
of towns.
Yeah, they got rid of skis.
You go down the middle aisle, you
yeah,
get a
yeah,
ski
yeah.
hire.
Yeah, fully.
Can I get petrol in this town? No.
Yeah, you
ski
can
hire.
get fuel.
Oh,
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
fuel.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
A video shop in the petrol station? or no?
Absolutely not. Oh, you could rent a few shit VHSs, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
actually.
okay, good.
That was
good.
always my favourite, the VHS section in the.
Yeah, it's all flooding
In the
back to
servo?
me.
Yeah. Boomai had that. We had the VHS in the pub. It was great.
That's
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a couple of little groceries. Yeah.
Grab a takeaway beer and a
Yeah,
bloody
yeah.
and Predator or something.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're talking. That's it.
Yeah.
So we went skiing whole school, if you could afford it. I suppose not everyone could afford it, but my parents weren't like rich at all. My dad was the only working dude, and he worked at the Shire, like driving graders and shit.
Yeah.
My mum was a crudely called housewife, as I grew up. So he brought the bacon in. That was enough to live on. But yeah, it was enough to go skiing every Thursday. And I'm like, this is just what you do.
Yeah.
As I got older, I realised, it's fully a rich man's sport,
Yeah.
And
Well,
I've
I
tried-
didn't even realise
yeah.
till recently, until I went up.
Rich person sport.
I didn't even know that. Don't worry, no one here gives a fuck on our
Yeah,
podcast.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two women that listen to this are like, what? They're like, nah, it's fine.
But I didn't even know, like, because I was like, man, there's a lot of Audis and shit up here. And you go, oh yeah, of course it's fucking expensive because to hire a
Yeah.
lodge is $800 a night. You know what I mean? It ain't cheap.
Tickets are like 200 minimum or something. Yeah, it's a day for a day.
Yeah, even the lift pass
Yeah.
kills you. You know?
Yeah.
And what, because, I went skiing years ago in my high school. We went on a ski trip and I was like, oh, cool. Wow, a run is like 3 minutes or 2 minutes.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
is huge. And
Yeah.
I went to Argentina and Chile and I'm like, takes you...
It's like kilometres
40
long.
minutes or whatever to get
Yeah.
down a run. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so cool. I've never done
cool,
that.
man.
But yeah.
Yeah. So what? You were skiing, and then what? You did you start skateboarding in
Yeah.
Porta Punka? Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, man.
somehow. Like there was only three skateboarders in that whole area, like
Yeah.
the nearby towns.
Yeah.
My mate Rob, who you know a bit.
Yes.
And this guy Marcus, who was like a sponsored snowboarder and a rad skateboarder.
Yeah.
Marcus Whirl, his name is. And
The Whirly man.
Yeah, the Whirly bird.
Where does he
Yeah.
live now? Does he still live in Porta Punka or no?
No, the champ lives in like Arrowtown, South Island in New Zealand.
Oh, I know
really?
Arrowtown.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
mad, beautiful. Bit
Yeah.
like where I'm from, but
Why does he
near
live
Queenstown.
there?
Oh,
No,
because he's a legend. You know, I don't know why.
Out of all your mates, was anyone? So only one mate was sponsored.
yeah, and only for snowboarding.
Yeah.
Was it back? Is this a weird call? But back in I thought when I was like 10 or whatever, my cousin was sponsored by like just some shoe brand, but he wasn't even that good. Were they just trying to was Australia just trying to snap up? Everyone's like, how the fuck is my cousin sponsored? He's
a
like
good-
average as fuck,
Yeah.
and he used to steal fucking cigarettes from the service station. That was his main thing.
Oh, that's probably why.
That's kinda
Partly why he was
sponsored.
Yeah, he's
sponsored.
sponsored by Winfield Gold.
Sponsored by the local supermarket or something.
Yeah.
He might have been better than you think, though. Maybe I don't
That's
know.
true.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This dude was good. Yeah, like good.
Yeah.
But the other guys I hung out with, I just always rode bikes one way or another. I was always riding bikes. It was just skateboarding. Well, I tried to quit skateboarding because, do you want to hear the truth on why I quit skateboarding in about 1995? I was in like year 10, I think, year 10, because my mates, I love skating. Like my whole wall, my bedroom wall was just like covered wall to wall in skateboard pictures. I just pulled out of magazines. You couldn't see any of the wall. And that's how much I loved it. I bought every snowboard magazine, every skateboard magazine. Yeah. Some different times I bought BMX magazines and
stuff.
They
were the best, man.
I think so.
I loved the skateboard magazines because, like today, you got all your fashion from skateboarding.
Yeah.
It was all cool, and it had those cool. One thing I always wanted to do in my life, they don't really have skateboard magazines anymore. But I would love to do. Remember they had.
They do, by the way, but they definitely do.
No, they're digital. Dave.
They have gone on. Yeah, you're right. There's less of them. You're right, Nick.
Sorry. And but you'd open it up and it would have the etnies.
Yeah.
And it would have a big photo on the left of the person doing a sick trick, and it would have the shoe. Taking up the last third of the page.
Yeah.
I always wanted that in a stand-up. Any sponsoring me to do stand up, like you open up a magazine, and it's just me doing a sweet gag, and then it's just got my shoe.
Yeah, just a big picture of the shoe side.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Or the Etnies low cut by Nick Kappa.
I still stole my life motto from a skateboard magazine and the shoe because it had that photo of some dude grinding or whatever, and then it had the big globe, the big fat tongue shoe, and it said to each their own. And that's probably still my
globe.
That's still my thing. I'm like, each to their own, mate. You know what I mean? It's still in me.
I like that.
I just stole it off a poster.
I remember that period.
I wasn't even into snowboarding, but I remember I did this Tamworth Ski Club, whatever. They asked me to do a drawing for their shirts, and I did a drawing of someone doing a sick grab, and they brought me back a snowboarding magazine from the ski trip.
Right.
And it was bigger. They were big.
Like bigger.
They were like A3.
They
were huge. They were awesome, man. Yeah.
Like a broadsheet.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, that's cool. I've never seen. I've rarely seen that.
So why did you stop skating?
Oh yeah, that's more. That's funnier, I think.
Yeah.
Shows how weird I am. This bit. Because about a year into it, when I really loved it, they started. Rob and his mates, who are my mates, started smoking bongs, and I just thought that was bad. I was like, oh no, if that's what skateboarding is, then I guess I got to quit skateboarding. It's so weird of me that. I grew up with a Catholic upbringing. Not that I followed it at all, but I went to church every bloody day, every Sunday, and I was just like, oh, I guess being bad is bad, and if they smoke bongs, I got to quit. I got to quit it.
So because they were smoking bongs, you're like, I'm just going to give up.
Even though I was never going to smoke bongs or drink or anything.
You just thought that's going to lead you down that lifestyle?
Well, not even. I just thought I can't associate with them. Well, I never even thought I'd do it.
And then cut to David Quirk at Meredith Music Festival this weekend.
Yeah, just having a dirty little biscuit. No, but yeah, I suppose so. Yeah. But what's my point? I literally I tore all those posters down.
Really?
Like in one day, I just thought I can't skate anymore. Yeah. And then started wearing polo shirts and tried to play basketball with these other dudes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm glad I did it though, because I realized how much I was not cut out for that shit. Now I wear polo shirts, but back then I was like, I was a skateboarder, I still am.
Yeah.
But it was so weird that I just like, oh, that's weird. And then came back to it sometime later, maybe months, 8 or 9, or maybe a year later, months, and thought, fuck it, I'm a skateboarder, and just I've skated ever since, pretty much. Yeah. So that was
Man, that's crazy how it's funny. It's the worst thing about today, and it's the best thing is because I didn't want to drink or anything, and then my mates who skateboarded and all that, they were like, oh, you got to have a bloody wine, or like you get cask wine. You get
right. I was at the same Nick and his mates just swirling a glass of red. Yeah. Oh, you've got to decant it, you fucking dickhead.
Unfortunately, it was out of the cask, just Moselle.
You got to try this pet nat. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. And you thought there was everything.
A Melback, yuck.
Yeah, you couldn't have a jock skateboarder. Bongs had to be associated with skateboarding and rollerblading. Yeah, drinking. And then with footy, you had jock culture. But now you can like Warhammer and still play rugby league, and you don't have to drink. Or
it seems that way.
You know what I mean? Or you don't have to drink at all. But I think what's also it's kind of a bad thing as well because everyone's a hustler now. So
Yeah,
skateboarding, comedy, fucking, riding mountain bikes, dirt bikes, it was for rejects of society.
Yeah,
And then they brought
yeah.
this wildness to us, like Dustin Dolan or something.
Yeah.
Who's drunk all the time and
Yeah.
doing those
Yeah,
mad
fully.
skates. But now you have people who are like, no, I don't drink. I'm about the hustle. It's about how many tricks you can do in a second, but then it loses the style. It loses
Yeah,
the
yeah.
rock
Kind
and
of
roll
you
style.
talking about like kind of maybe loses some of the grit and the fucking edge
That's
that it
it.
used to have. Yeah, yeah.
Consistency is way better.
Yeah.
Like you look at all the comedians now.
Yeah.
They're doing jokes per minute, bang, 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 bang. But there's not
some-
many wild peeps left.
Something's
There's
lost. I like it.
Absolutely.
I don't know if the listeners
Yeah.
like what you're saying, but I really value what you're saying.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
saying there's a lot of dorks out there now.
Yeah, there is. Like
There's some sort of
And I like it.
professionalism that's taken over.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
Yeah, I don't like it.
bloody awful.
Actually, I love it because now when you go to Catfish or do any other gig, there's still 10 fucking beer cards left on the table. I'm like,
Yeah.
yoink.
oh yeah, man, that is so brutal for a guy like me. I just see it and I'm
Yeah,
like, why
yeah.
aren't you drinking all of these?
No, I know, but yeah, I'm like, God, everyone's. I mean, drinking is not the answer to
Yeah.
anything, I don't think.
Yeah.
But it is funny how many, I don't know, like what's been lost.
Yeah.
Not that just being drunk is
Yeah.
is good, always good, but it's like, how do you
I meant the
how
grit.
do you be out at night without a drink or something?
Yeah,
yeah,
that's how I feel.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's got their camera at the back. They're trying to make a fucking TikTok.
Yeah.
They're trying to make something go fucking viral in the
Yeah,
back. It's
yeah.
like, man, just get up there and be loose. Some of the best gigs I've had are drunk and not giving a fuck
Or
at 2
hungover.
a.m. Or hungover. yeah. Oh,
I
God.
think there's this account. I
Who
follow-
listens to this, by the way? Because
We don't know
I just
either.
realised we're speaking out against a whole sector of the comedy world, but
No.
fuck it.
No,
Fuck 'em.
No, but it's not bad. I just find it's something that's with
different.
everything.
Something you've noticed?
Yeah. But like, also that was that's what people that were the generation before us. They were like, whatever fucking happened. Well, you didn't even
Yeah.
have your notes written down. You just go up there, you
Yeah.
bloody riff. You know, you
Well, there's
get
a bloke I
fucked
often-
up afterwards.
Even though we haven't really covered the mountain bike thing,
Yeah,
but
yeah. There.
there's a bloke I always think about, and that's Anthony Morgan.
yeah.
Like, have you ever seen him do comedy?
No.
You would've.
He was the rock and roll guy. Right?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he probably always didn't do it the way it should have to be expected or something. But like, there's something I like about the ragged way he did it, and I love that man. He's a bit of a hallmark for me, and
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, it's the antithesis of what you see. Like, I've seen him do whole comedy festival shows where he didn't finish the show.
Yeah.
Like, he runs out of time and goes, "Oh, if you come back another night, I'll try and finish it then." Like, seriously. And it was like, oh, well, fucking great to see. It's just beautiful, really. Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. I love that stuff. I think it's also in the back of our heads now, and it's in the back of my head, and I'm trying to get rid of it, to be honest, is because I was never about money, never about it. And you get all these pressures. You're like, oh, I'm getting older. I've got to fucking appease my partner. I've got people depending on me. And then you go, oh, why? I didn't get into this for money.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
I think in the back of your head now, it's like, monetize it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
but
fair.
after 10 years, you're like, man, I wouldn't mind paying rent.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
There is a bit of
exactly.
that
I
as
was
well.
like, but money wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, money would not hurt.
But,
Speaking of
I
money,
totally agree.
I at Comedy Festival, roadshow about 3 years ago, before I started mountain biking, or maybe I just bought a mountain bike. I fucking rinsed you because you were like, dude, I spent $6,000 on this bike. I was like, what are you, a fucking idiot? It's more than a dirt bike. You're the dumbest cunt ever. Why would you drop $6,000?
Yeah.
And now after riding for a year, I wish I had $6,000 to spend on a bike. I get it, David. I apologize. I stand down.
At least I'm
Brett's
just-
eating his word again.
No, I get, yeah, fair enough, man. Here's me going on about skiing's and snowboarding's a rich person's sport, but I'm like, so's this shit.
Yeah, it is.
It's like it fucking is.
Yeah.
Like I was just wheeling this down because I live in an apartment. I have to wheel it. So they're so big as well. Like the handlebars are so wide. The wheels are 29 inches,
Yeah.
and so it takes up. It's like if you put it on its end, it's taller than I am, and I'm like,
Yeah.
these bikes have changed so much since I was young. But I was wheeling it down the stairs, and I'm like, oh, don't bump it on anything. And I was thinking about this mountain bike video of this gnarly dude. I think he's Norwegian dude. Look him
Yeah.
up if you haven't heard it. Every mountain bike. So I don't follow mountain biking closely enough. I just like watching it sometimes and doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
But this guy, I think his name's Brage or Brage, Brage. Look up this dude. He
Yeah.
rides for GT. He's insane. They call him like the Viking or something. It's so exciting to watch this dude ride. And he's so nuts on the bike. He must go through bikes all the time.
Yeah.
And here's me just like wheeling it gently down the stairs going, don't knock it. And I'm like, well, he gets them for free. I've got to be careful to look after this
Well,
bike.
that's why I was like, I've got to find the right price point. Like, my bike's probably about $1,000 or $1,500. I don't think I'd go to 6 because that would, if I have to replace it, would cripple me. Like $3,000, I think is a good.
If you
spot
just
for
got
me.
say the aluminium, the alloy version of something like that, you'd save probably $1,500 or $2,000 straight away. You know what I mean?
But also, like, you're like, I've got to be careful going down this stairway, and then you're like 2 minutes later, you're going down a fucking rock garden.
yeah, totally. But that's
I'll only scratch it on the course.
That's what they're for, though. And, I've got
you
to
can't
start.
be too precious, you know.
I've got to
what I like
start
about
abusing it a bit, you know.
The $1,300 mark, sick for me. I just love.
Is that what
fucking
yours costs?
Yeah.
And what is it, Kappa?
It's a Marin.
Marin, nice.
Yeah.
Little hardtail.
Marin, my limited knowledge of the mountain bike world.
Man,
Marin have their
I thought they
own
were-
factory.
Yeah.
And so do Giant. And most bike brands, except for the real indie ones, the craft beers of mountain bikes, are all made through those two factories. You know that?
Oh, really?
I think Marin and Giant make most of the major, most of the major mountain bikes. Yeah.
Ah,
Don't
really?
quote me if you're watching. Don't quote me or I'll bash you.
You heard it here first. Don't work on a bash
yeah,
everyone.
man, it's so cool. Like, and what made you, like, how did you get this bike?
Yeah,
you said
okay.
You bought it off a mate.
Well, I think I realised I had all this cash, like extra cash, and not much to spend it on. And I thought, I still don't remember what made me go buy a bike.
Yeah.
But I remember just thinking, because a lot of my mates ride, my old mates, they still ride bikes, and I'm like, I should join them. Like, it'd be fun. I think it'd be a nice alternative to going skateboarding all the time. It's something you can do with.
Yeah.
You do out in nature. It's probably the only thing I have that is out in nature.
Yeah,
really.
that's the best
Because I
part
don't
of
go to the snow anymore for the reasons I've just mentioned. Really.
Yeah.
Though I wouldn't mind doing that.
You don't want to smoke bongs again.
No, no, the bong. It's funny. You got to get off the bongs. You know?
Guys, I'm taking up snowboarding if that's what's involved.
Yeah.
I'll just be in the car park.
Sitting up the top of the hill.
Ribbon cones.
But yeah, so it was a way to just go, I don't have a connection to getting out in the bush very much, and this seemed like a good way of doing it.
Man, I really missed mountain biking as well, because when I got to a motorbike, it reminded me that the sound of the motorbike does interfere with the nature. It's awesome, but you're just like, when you can hear everything, you're like, oh, yeah, this is peaceful.
Yeah, or just being at the top of a hill, you know, is nice, isn't it?
Yeah. But then you also... You get horny when you watch a mountain bike vids and you can hear those expensive bikes and going, and you hear them go around the thing. You're like, oh, that's hot.
That's good stuff.
That's sexy stuff.
Man,
Fully.
I miss the motorbike until I see an uphill, and then I'm like, fuck, I wish I was on the fucking motorbike.
I see
Just
when
wheezing my fat way up there.
When I last rode this in Bright, must have been just around Christmas time this year, I guess it was, and half the cats have, even if they're my age or younger, are running the e-bikes.
Yeah.
They're nice. Probably, and what are you going to spend on that? Probably another
they're 9 to
3 or
12.
4 grand.
Yeah.
And they're hooning past you, but I'm like, nah, I'd rather walk up the damn hill to the top. You know, personally.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. It's about exercise, I suppose.
Yeah.
Not that you don't get exercise on an e-bike, but
This little kid told me
You know,
I hired
I'm a purist.
I hired an e-bike one
I'm
day.
offline. Yeah.
I hired an e-bike one day, and then a dual shock the next day, and he's like, finally, you got to earn your turn. And I was like, this little 12-year-old, I was like, you're right, brother. I'm going to put him next to my globe poster. To each his own, you got to earn your turn. And I was like, nice,
On
nice.
your gravestone.
Yeah.
Here lies Brady Blake.
But then
To
I
each
was
his-
earning my turn, and I fucking hated it. It took me 2.5 hours to get up this mountain in New Zealand. Fucking killed
Yeah,
me.
that's nuts. If you,
It's too long.
Oh, well, I'm
That's what you do is shuttles if you have to. Chuck your bike in the back. Yeah.
big tracks. I'm like, no electric. I love going around it, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm like, if you got to do heaps of ones, give me electric.
Yeah.
So I can just, I'm going to New Zealand next week.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna fucking just
Yeah.
get
Are you
electric.
gonna hire
and just
electric?
Gonna hit.
Yeah.
Just gonna hit as many as I can per
that's
day.
smart. Yeah. Cover more ground.
Cover more ground.
I had 3 days in Queenstown, so I was like, more e-bike, straight up. And then I did, instead of just doing one run, I managed to do 9 out of the 12 in one day.
Yeah, so good.
It was great.
See, my mate, a few years ago, my best old friends decided to have one lives in the States and the other live in sort of near Stanley or Yakandanda area. One's in Albury or Wodonga maybe. And they're like, let's all get together and go to Queenstown. And it was summer.
Nice.
And then Steve Montgomery, his name is, he's the most into the mountain bikes. And he's like, yeah, we'll all rent bikes. And back then, this is probably only pre-COVID.
Yeah.
We're like, all right, cunt, we'll fucking get up on one of these hills. Can you say the C word?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's encouraged.
Can't.
Yeah. Anyway, I hated it. Like, I wasn't in the mood. I basically just wanted to drink, the entire time. And
We're in New Zealand.
but
Let's
then
drink.
since then, I think because my head wasn't into doing it, even though I'm like, nah, fuck mountain bikes, But since then, I've changed, and I'm like, Nah, mountain bike. If I'd had that attitude then, I would have probably had a great time going down there.
Man, sometimes I'm in a shitty mood and I go and I don't want to be riding. I don't want to be doing anything. Your fucking headspace really fucks you. But
Totally.
I always my favourite part is earning your beers as well. You know what I mean? Really sweating it out, going and then cracking a can. Because there's nothing worse than cracking a can and you go, I've just gotten up and now I'm cracking a beer. I have not earned this at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man.
Earn your turns and your drinks.
And your turns and your drinks.
So frustrating because, my partner's planning this trip, Queenstown, and I'm just like, let's do something in the morning, then we earn our beers, right? And I can just see it trying to get out of stuff. Like, what water rafting? What do you reckon of that? And I was like, look, even if we do the scenery, you got to understand. Like,
You've got to go on a big 2-hour walk or a hike or something, you know?
It is Queenstown,
You got to do that.
I'd never been. It's one of the most amazing places ever, isn't it?
I was only there 6 months ago or 4 months ago, and I went there with my missus because she's from NZ, and we hired e-mountain bikes, and she's not super experienced, neither am I, but their tracks, they're double black is
intense.
Psychotic.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't even know
I wouldn't be doing
how
that.
to jump that gap that then turns into a fucking berm in the middle of the air, and I was like, oh no. Even their blues were blacks.
Oh, that sounds mad.
But they were. You can still ride them because they made really well.
Yeah.
So it's like
And
there's not big gap jumps on the blues or whatever. Lots of type tabletops, so you can hit them
sounds
how
rad.
you want.
Yeah,
but they were 7-minute downs, and I had the best fun of my life.
That's so good.
Man, I can't wait.
Is that where you're going, South Island too, Nick?
Yeah, I'm going to Queenstown. Yeah.
So good.
I've given him some spots as well, so it's going to be sick.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of this mixes a New Zealand trip with story the downside of alcoholism. This story, my mate who lives in the States. No, I won't name him. He won't listen to this, but fuck him. He
All right, I want a name now. Now you've said fuck him, I want a name.
no, it's all right. It's all right.
Let's call him Steve.
It's not Steve, but let's call him Steve. Right. He was going. He was. I don't know what was going on with him, but he was just drinking too much. And and the other two boys don't drink at all. So there's 4 of us. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll keep him company. I'll drink with him.
You'll be the middleman.
Yeah, but he was surprising me with the amounts he was drinking. You know what I mean? Like he said, and he's rich. I should point that out. He's genuinely rich. So he said, I'm going to take all you guys bungee jumping. And I'm like, I'm shit scared of bungee jumping, man. But I'll come. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but we'll all come out with you. So we get on the bus.
I'm in a bad mood. I've just been mountain biking. Maybe a bunch will jump.
Maybe that'll help. Yeah.
Can I take a beer on this bungee jump?
Well, here's where this is going. As we're getting on the bus to go out to this AJ Hackett stuff, he buys a bottle of tequila for the bus, right? And so the other guys don't drink at all. They're quite straight, you know? And so me and him are sitting there, and I'm like, he was already drunk by the time we got on the bus, like really drunk. And I'm like, all right, man. So we share this bottle of tequila. I'm like, this is crazy. Anyway, he's such a daredevil. He was the first guy I saw do a backflip on a BMX back in the 90s and stuff. Like, he's wild. Yeah. He's not really wild, but he's got guts.
That's,
you know what I mean?
That's wild.
It's pretty wild.
On a BMX is.
Well, I reckon I'd give that. Yeah. I mean, I know I can only jump maybe an inch off the ground, but I think that's pretty wild.
No, it is. It's crazy. It smells like Christmas in here. It's that tree, is it? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Probably the tree.
Probably the tree.
Anyway,
sorry, my farts smell like Christmas at the moment.
the festive season.
He misheard where to put the mistletoe.
Yeah. Right up the jacksie.
Yeah.
And so anyway, there's this one. So he did the main drop like without even thinking. Like he was drunk and not scared. It was like he wasn't even impressed by it. He goes, that was shit. He gets up from a proper bungee jump. He goes, oh, that was average. I'm like, come on, dickhead. He goes, come on, you do it, Quirk. I'm like, I'm not doing it, man. I'm scared. I admit I'm scared. But then he said, I'm going to do this one. This like, I don't know if you've seen this, but it's like a bungee that you lay flat. So have you seen this? And you get shot out across a canyon.
Yeah. And then you drop or something, do you?
I think you just shoot and then drop.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stupid. Like, and you go 150 meters, maybe more, maybe 200 meters. It's crazy. And he was so up for doing this, but also just like drunk and careless.
Yeah.
And he was like, we were all sitting there filming, and I thought, I'll film this in slow motion, actually, the takeoff, because it's just instant. It's just, you know what I mean? And he was just giving lip to the girl that was like setting him up.
Oh, no.
Like just being an annoying drunk dickhead, you know what I mean? And she was just clearly, like, they meant to count you down, and she was obviously getting sick of him, and he's just like talking shit to it, like, oh no, this is fucking shit, you know, like being a fucking idiot.
Do you want to swig of this tequila?
Yeah. And she, like a total queen, didn't tell him when it was going to go, right? And I was filming in slow motion. I think I've lost the video, which is really upsetting. If I can find it, I should send it to you and put it on this podcast because it's so gold. And in slow motion, you just see, cause you know, when you're drunk, your muscles are looser.
Yeah.
His head in slow motion just goes. then he's just gone, and he had whiplash for the rest of the trip. And he's like, they fucking fucked me up. Like, why they have to fuck? And he's just like, it was so good. Like,
man.
Just this dickhead just got, served. It was so good.
Oh man, nothing whacks you into soberdom like a fucking whiplash from.
Yeah.
They did that when I was
300 meters.
skydiving, but I didn't do anything to deserve it. Like I was just like, yeah, man, I'm shitting.
Oh, they do that so you don't.
Yeah, I don't
freak
want to.
out,
I don't want
really.
to jump out of this thing. It's unnatural or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it is. I'm
Yeah.
just gonna do it because I've got to do it, but I'm not happy about it.
Yeah,
Once I
fully.
got to the thing, and then he's like 5, 4, 3, 2, and then the guy goes wait and was holding a carabiner, and I was like, as I went out, I went, "Oh!" and then I just went. I was like, "Oh!" and I was just like the whole time. I was like, I'm not attached to this person. And then he,
How were you then? How does it work?
well, he was just fucking with me. Just picked up a carabiner that was attached to fucking nothing.
So he was on you.
no, this was the guy that was pushing us out. So there was a guy who was attached to me, and then the guy who pushes you out was just like, hang on with the, and then showed me like a carabiner right to my face. And
as if it wouldn't be scary
lucky
enough.
the camera guy was shooting that way because I went white, and I was like, "Ah!" and I went down. I was like, and I had the 16,000 drops. So it was like 30 seconds of me going, well,
What, free fall?
yeah, this is it.
That's so.
But then the guy was attached to
wild.
let go, and I was like, he's like, ha 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 ha, and I was like, man, I'm gonna fucking bash this cunt when I get off.
Yeah. But then you loved it though.
Yeah, but by the time all the adrenaline hit me, I was like, nah, that's funny. That guy's sick. I like him. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. You know,
so fucked
he really
up.
fucked with me. Yeah.
That's great.
We better wrap it up soon. But Quirk, what do you got to promote here, mate?
Have we covered anything?
Yeah, we covered heaps.
Yarns. That's all it
we
is,
got
baby.
the yarns.
We've
We got
seen
the
the
mountain
bike.
bikes.
We have seen the bike.
You got a new festival show coming out.
Yeah.
You told us you've written the whole thing and you feel really good about it.
In
Written
fact,
the
you
whole
said you got
thing.
too many jokes in
Yeah,
it, and
yeah.
you've got to get rid of an hour.
Yeah. We're going to cut the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
Just, I know how good it is. No one needs to know.
And you should
No, I'm working hard on it. It's called Cobra, depending on where you're from. The poster at this point is better than the show, so we're going to try and balance that out.
Okay.
Just over, you probably you don't want those ratios that way, do you?
Man,
You know-
I've always got a good poster in an average show, you know?
That's the way.
That's
Yeah.
You get them in.
Get
you
him
know.
in.
Yeah.
You go through the door then.
Sorry, everyone. You're in now, aren't you?
No refunds, guys.
I show the poster again,
Yeah.
go through the
Don't
details.
forget. Yeah. So no, that's the main thing.
Oh, great, mate.
But I'm not doing the fest. I'm not doing Perth. Not doing Adelaide. I gave it a wide berth, so I got time to give it a good shot. But yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Oh, great, mate. And
Please come.
your ABC comedy
that's
of
how it
your
is.
last show. I listened to that last week, actually.
you?
In the car. Fantastic.
Good for a long drive. I
Which
hope.
one was it?
Fantastic.
It's like last year's show.
was that
Astonishing
show called?
Obscurity. It was called.
Oh, I saw that at Adelaide. I fucking loved it.
You saw it early, Brady.
Yeah,
but
it
thanks,
was
man.
really good. If you haven't seen it already, download or listen to it. I fucking enjoyed it.
Yeah,
and
that
it
is
was
something I
very
will
good.
happily promote. It's
Astonishing
decent.
Obscurity.
Yeah.
It's
So
on
good.
ABC Listens or ABC Presents. Comedy Presents. ABC Comedy Presents.
Love
Yes.
it.
So do check that out because it is.
Finally,
I'm happy with it.
The government funded something great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
thank
know?
you. Thank
Yes,
you. Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to leave it there. Until next time, thank you very much for joining us, David.
Yeah.
Keep it flat. Stick.